Hi there, it's Yasmin Boland here, ready to tell you all about the super full moon taking place this week. So every now and then we get a month when it seems like the skies are on our side, or at least are giving us a bit of a break. After the eclipse season, with the recent Mercury retrograde thrown in, June is bringing us some relief. I hope it's bringing you relief too. There are no eclipses, no major planetary clashes, and Mercury has even ended its recent retrograde cycle. So, all in all, life should be a little easier for the coming couple of weeks. We are nearly halfway through June. Hopefully, you're feeling fine. But if you're not, listen up because I've got more information. For me, this is a big month because I'm holding my annual Moonology Training. It's the third time I've done it, and if you're interested, it's happening this week and it's 100% free. Honestly, I know my Moonology Training can change your life. It can open your mind up to your ability to create your life, and it really can honestly change your life for the better. The training is called 3 Ways to Work with the Magic of the Moon, and I'm doing it on Zoom in association with my amazing publishers, Hay House. Before starting to record this podcast you're listening to now, I've just spent a few hours putting the final touches to my 3 presentations, and I'm honestly super happy with them. I know that if you tune in, and more importantly, if you take action on what I teach you in the training, you will start to see you are really not stuck in your life at all. Okay? You have more power than you ever knew, and you can create a life that will give you tingles and goosebumps. I am not even joking. If you're curious to learn more, please visit moonmessages.com/moon training and register for free. Seats are limited and the replays are only going to stay up for 24 hours after 3 events. So make sure you back yourself, give yourself the time to do this, and I will see you there. moonmessages.com/moon training. And the link is also in the show notes. So let's talk about where we are a little bit here in the middle of June. I'm actually taking notes from my Moonology diary because we're about to have the full moon, which is taking place kind of tonight, if you're listening on Monday, June 13, when this podcast comes out. I say it's taking place kind of tonight because, in fact, tonight is the night, or if you're listening on June 13, tonight is the night the moon will be at her fullest pretty much everywhere in the world in the skies. Because the thing is, the full moon doesn't always take place or peak at night. In fact, since we're talking about it, here are the times around the world for the June super full moon, which is taking place in the sign of Sagittarius. So, which means something different for everyone. If you're in the UK, the full moon will take place on the 14th of June at 12:51 p.m. So just before 1 p.m. on Tuesday, the 14th of June. If you're in Sydney, the full moon will take place at 9:51 p.m. on Tuesday, the 14th of June. So really, again, even in Sydney, the 13th of June is when the moon is going to be at her biggest and brightest at night. In LA, it will be 14th of June at 4:51 p.m. So you definitely want to get your crystals out on the night of the 13th tonight to cleanse and charge them. And same for New York, where the full moon will actually peak on the 14th of June at 7:51 a.m. Before we dig into the full moon, an important note for you is that right now Saturn is retrograde. And this is kind of a good thing. Think of it like this. Generally, Saturn is the planet of karma. You've probably heard sort of scary things about Saturn because people fear karma because maybe they're not doing good stuff. But if you live a decent life, Saturn isn't going to harm you. You should get good karma. Saturn rolls around our charts, taking about 30 years to complete one cycle, teaching us the heavy life lessons our souls need to take on in order to learn the lessons that we incarnated here to learn this lifetime. Saturn is the great teacher of the zodiac, okay? But instead of being that teacher that everybody loves, Saturn is more like the teacher that everybody is scared of, but sort of also that teacher that we look back on and go, yeah, that really mean teacher. At the end of the day, they really taught me a few lessons I needed to learn. Actually, and as I speak about this, I'm remembering not one of my teachers, but one of my lecturers at university, Professor Smith, who was really tough and yet taught me so much. Anyway, so when Saturn is moving forwards, Saturn is helping us learn lessons and build our lives. Saturn is all about construction. When Saturn is retrograde, as it is right now, it kind of gives us a break from the relentless learning and maturing that Saturn demands of us, and we get a chance to think about the lessons we've learned already. Okay, so it's like, rather than, oh my God, I've got to learn more life lessons, it's a time to kind of reflect on what we've already learned. However, if there has been a major drama in your life in the past few months, it could be that it's going to resurface during this Saturn retrograde now that we're going through, so you can ensure that you really did learn all that you were meant to. Remember, this is all based on the idea that we incarnate here on Earth in order to evolve our souls. So, Saturn retrograde, when the planet appears to be going backwards, think of it as a time to rebuild. Think of now as a time to rebuild. Also, let's talk about the full moon taking place, well, actually, as I've explained, taking place June 14, but if you're listening on June 13, it's kind of taking place tonight, because when you go out to look at the skies tonight, the moon is going to be the fullest that she's going to be at night this month. So the full moon in Sagittarius, which is what this full moon is, and a supermoon at that, is always a great time to take a step back and see how far you've come in life. And I'm going to give you a little exercise to do at the end of all this to help you do that. No matter what has been going on for you in 2022 so far, on one level or another, you have somehow since January 1 evolved, okay? Even if you feel like you've been quite stagnant so far this year, or in the last 12 months, or for a very long time, you're not the same person that you were a year ago or when the year began. So have a look back and see what you've achieved. Let's say over the last 12 months for now. Just think for a second. What have you achieved in the last 12 months? It's now June 2022. Can you think of anything that you've achieved in the last 12 months? Have you evolved as a person? Maybe you already can see it. This full moon taking place this week is a particularly benevolent one, taking place in the very fun sign of Sagittarius. And straight after the full moon, we get an alignment between Mars and the planetoid Chiron, which is all about healing. And also in particular, because Mars is involved, and Mars is the planet of anger and sex and war, there could be some kind of healing to do with sex or anger or fighting. Let's hope so. Fingers crossed. So make the night of the full moon, that's tonight if you're listening on the Monday, make the night super special. If you have a partner, spend some time just showing appreciation to your beloved. And if you're single, the full moon is always a very fun time to be out with friends because the energies are high, but careful you don't go completely loony. Plus, it's a great time to do any healing work around the male or the masculine, or with any males in your life. If you're ready to forgive and move on, do it now, okay? Because the Mars-Chiron link after the full moon is really bringing up healing around the male and the masculine. Also, note that I'm going to be doing a free full moon ceremony like I do every single month in my backyard in London, and I'll be doing it tomorrow night, Tuesday night this month, as a part of my free live Moonology training. So tomorrow in session 2, we're going to talk about why right now is the perfect time to release the past and any negativity you're carrying around, and why that is so important to do if you want to be a powerful, deliberate manifester. It's an amazing chance for us all to get together online, which is something that really I love to do. We'll all be on Zoom. We can even see each other, although you don't have to put your camera on if you don't want to. And it's an amazing chance for us to create some amazing healing group energy. So as I said, that's going to be part of my second session on my full moon training, moonmessages.com/moon training. Remember, you have to register or you won't be able to get the link. I hope to see you there. I want to end this week's podcast by offering you the exercise of the week from my Moonology diary. I called it the Look How Far You've Come exercise. It's something that you can do now or in the next few days as we move into the waning cycle of the moon. So here's what you do. Take some time out. Maybe you could do this just before we do the full moon ceremony if you want to join me for that tomorrow night. Take some time out to make a timeline of your life, going back as far as you can remember. Note when you started and finished school, or fell in love for the first time, or broke up with someone for the first time, got married or divorced or remarried, started that big job, got your big break, had a great year or a challenging year. The idea is to get the big picture of your life, because what I want you to do under this full moon in Sagittarius energy, remember I said it's all about the big picture and seeing how far you've come. I want you to see the big picture of how far you've come and how you've evolved as a person. So even if before when I said, how far have you come in the last 12 months and you couldn't think it on the spot, this is going to help you understand how far you've come. Okay? Sagittarius energy is very expansive, and the full moon in Sag, super full moon in Sag, makes now a great time to treat life as an adventure, okay? And review your journey so far, including your darkest times, because what we do at the full moon is we actually process any darkness which we've been through. It's really important. When we do the full moon ceremony tomorrow night, we'll do some forgiveness work as well, because that's how we process stuff. It's really important. This is not about what they call spiritual bypassing, where you just kind of, keep saying, life is great, life is great, life is great, life is great. If life isn't great, you have to deal with the SHIT. Sorry to swear for anyone who's very sensitive. I actually created this list, this timeline of my life quite a few years ago, and I keep it on my computer and I update it from time to time. It's brilliant, so I can refer back to it any time I want. Try it, see how you go with it. It's a really, really good exercise. Do it this week, see how far you've come. And one last time I'll mention, please tune into my free 3-part live moon training this week to discover, now that you've got some perspective on your life, discover how you can shape the rest of your life, maybe even more to your liking. moonmessages.com/moon training, or click the link in the show notes. Thank you for listening, and have a great day or night wherever you may be, and I'll speak to you next week. Lots of love.